Have you ever wanted to get that classic cinematic wide look with your iPhone footage? I'm talking about that anamorphic cinematic experience with those slick looking horizontal light flares that makes you sit back and say, wow. Well, there are a lot of good expensive anamorphic lens options for the iPhone out there, but I wanted to know if you can get something that's better value for money that can give you amazing results for around $100. Oh yes, there is, and it's from a company called USKeyvision. Let's do this! What is going on? It's Anil. So a few months ago, I picked up this 1.55 times anamorphic lens from USKeyvision. I wanted to see if I can get wide, cinematic, anamorphic style footage with my iPhone without breaking the bank. I mean, on a budget. Now, there are a lot of anamorphic lens options out there for your iPhone. Brands like Sandmark and Moments do brilliant quality lenses, but they're gonna cost you $150, possibly more. The USKeyvision anamorphic 1.55 times lens costs 70 quid. That's around $107 for you guys over the pond. I'm excited to show you guys how I got on with this lens mounted on an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'm also going to show you how to set this lens up in a pro camera app like Filmic Pro. So before we jump into the review of this lens, let's take a look at some footage I shot with this lens on a family day out to the zoo. So what do you think? That's pretty good, isn't it? Pretty good. For a budget lens, it surprised me. When I'm reviewing products like this, there are key assessment criteria that I always go through. Build quality, performance, and value for money. So let's get into it. Now, build quality is always a little bit of a sticky subject, especially when you're talking about budget options. Now, this lens feels solid. It's got a good amount of weight to it. And also, the adjustment ring is so smooth. And more importantly, it's got a good amount of resistance. The resistance is going to be important. I'm going to talk about that a bit later. Also, there is a universal clip in the kit, which is okay as well. Metal, feels solid. USKeyvision also give you a nice little case. Now, I love it when brands think about the usability as well as the performance of the lens, because how you carry your lens around is also important, and this case is pretty good. It's got great little foam inserts, put your lens in, and also zips up nicely. The other great thing that I love about this lens is it comes with a great little cover that goes easily onto your lens on the front and also on the back, which is great for keeping that lens protected while you're not using it. So I have to say, build quality is a big tick in the box from me. Now, I also picked up this case from USKeyvision. It has a 17mm screw mount for the lens. I have to say, the case is pretty good quality as well. It is solid. It looks like it's going to really protect the phone. Yeah, I like it. Like I said, it does come with a universal clip, but they're rubbish. I prefer to use the case. So before we move on to how this lens performed, as always guys, if you like the content, smash the like button. If you want to learn a little bit more about smartphone photography and videography and filmmaking, please hit the subscribe button. So how did this anamorphic lens perform? Well, you saw the results, didn't you? It was pucker. For a budget lens, I was surprised. I was really surprised. So let's look at some of the characteristics of this lens. You will notice that the footage that I shot was wide. I mean, it was really wide. The Anamorphic 1.55 lens delivers a 276 aspect ratio from your 178 footage. Now, in order to get that correct squeeze, you need to use a pro camera app like Filmic Pro. Now, Filmic Pro isn't a free app, but if you're serious about filmmaking with your iPhone, I highly suggest you go and buy it. And setting up Filmic Pro to use the Anamorphic lens is so easy. All you need to do is open up Filmic Pro, tap on Settings, then Hardware. Scroll down until you see 1.55 anamorphic adapter. Flick the toggle and you're ready to go. Now, with this lens being so wide, you're gonna notice a lot of bending lines. This is another unique characteristic of this lens, and you're gonna really notice it, especially when you're panning. You'll see bulges on those lines. Now, some people like it or hate it. It's part of the uniqueness of this lens. It's what they call creative choice. I say embrace it. I love the look. Some of my favorite Hollywood movies are shot using an anamorphic lens. Embrace it. Embrace the uniqueness of the lens. You're gonna get awesome results. Now let's talk about image quality, because I was definitely expecting some loss of image quality when using this lens. I mean, come on, you're adding extra glass on top of the lens on your iPhone, so you've got to expect some image loss, right? I think the question is, how much image loss are you going to get? In good lighting conditions, this lens performs very, very well. I found it really hard to notice any real loss of image quality. I did notice some softening around the edges, but nothing too noticeable. Nothing that an average user would see. I mean, it's a budget lens, and also, if you're just filming to go up in social media, your own little personal projects, your friends, your family, the average consumer is not going to notice, trust me. Now, one of the biggest characteristics of this lens, and my personal favorite, are those horizontal light flares that you get. Now, being in the UK, right, we don't get much sun. Maybe 2 days in a year we can put our shorts on and go outside and enjoy the sun. So I was lucky when I was testing this lens that I got some nice low sun that allowed me to get some really interesting flares. As soon as you start panning through and that sun hits that lens, you'll notice these amazing blue horizontal flares. Ooh, I love it. With anything, it's always creative choice. You, as a filmmaker, what look do you like? I love that sci-fi look. It brings that Hollywood realism to my footage. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about usability, because this is also important for me. Like I said, pairing the lens up with a case is a must for me. It's so easy to screw this lens into the case, have it on your phone all the time when you're shooting. And as I mentioned earlier, I was really impressed with the adjustment ring. The tension is just right. Now, it's important because you don't want your lens to go off center. Once you've adjusted it and you've got it straight, pretty much stays like that. Also, the lens cap is so useful. It means I can keep the lens on the case, on the phone, just put the cap on it, stick it in my bag, stick it in my pocket, and I can just pull it out when I want to use it. As I mentioned before, don't bother with that universal clip. They never work. They frustrate you, they block the screen, you can't see half of your screen. Just don't bother with it. Get the case, you won't regret it. So let's move on to the final section, value for money. This is where this lens shines for me, because value for money, oh yes. Yes indeed. $107. Come on, this is amazing value for money. If you're in a market for a low cost anamorphic lens option for your iPhone, you cannot go wrong with this. $107? Oh, yeah. Yes. This review is for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I've now upgraded to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I know what the comments are going to be like. Does this lens work with the iPhone 13 Pro? And the answer is, it will work, but I haven't tested it. The reason why I haven't tested it is because the universal clip doesn't fit the iPhone 13. The cameras bulge out too much, the clip doesn't sit on. I wasn't able to test it, but looking on the USKeyvision website, I can see that they sell a case for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you want to try it out, go and do it. I can't get hold of the case here in the UK, so I can't test it, but The option's there, guys. The option is there. Like I said, I can't test it, so I can't guarantee that it will work. So don't come to me and complain, all right? That's what I'm saying. Don't hold me to it. But if you're interested in anamorphic lens options for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, drop me a comment. Maybe I'll get hold of one and do a little review for you guys. So to wrap up, I would 100% recommend you go out and buy this anamorphic lens from USKeyvision, especially if you're on a budget, or maybe you don't want to go and spend a little bit extra on those key brands like San Mark. You want to try it out, see how you like it. Can't go wrong with this one. You cannot go wrong. Thanks for watching, guys, right? Check out these other videos, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's get anamorphic, anamorphic. Let's get anamorphic. Oh.